Gun safety. 3 basic rules of gun safety. These will be on the sheet we'll be filling out for Wades. These are general rules that are going to be acknowledged anywhere you go with firearms. 3 basic rules. First, every gun is always loaded. Always. Never ever treat a gun as though it's empty. That's just bad news, unsafe, dangerous, stupid. Don't do it. Every gun is always loaded. Second, never point a gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. You need to also be aware of what's going on behind what you're shooting. This won't be a factor tonight at Wade's, but it will be a factor in general. Be aware of what's behind what you're shooting and never ever point a firearm at anything you're not willing to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. That means that you have the gun sighted in on your target and it's pointed downrange and everything is ready to go and you're ready to fire. Do not handle the gun by touching the trigger. Do not touch the trigger picking it up. Do not touch the trigger while you're manipulating the gun to figure out whether or not you've got the slide lock in the right place or the safety off. Finger is off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. So now that we've gone over the 3 basic rules of gun safety, I'm going to go through a basic introduction of a modern semi-automatic firearm, similar to the ones we'll be using tonight at Wade's. When you get your gun from Wade's, they will give it to you in one of these. This is referred to as a pistol rug or a pistol pouch. Inside the rug, the gun will be basically like this. It will be closed, and it will have the magazine removed. It's going to annoy people. Don't call it a clip. It's not a clip. Don't call it one. It'll annoy people. It's not important, but it's one of those things that people who know guns will get annoyed if you refer to it as a clip. It's not. These are magazines. So you will receive the firearm like this with the magazine removed. This is what you'll be using. Okay? This is a fairly typical one, other than being a relatively small gun. This is a compact gun for concealed carry. Other guns we'll be playing with tonight will be much larger. Some will be a little smaller perchance, but this is, for all intents and purposes, this is a very typical semi-automatic handgun. And it will work exactly the same as almost everything else out there. So a few things you need to be aware of. This button here, this is the slide lock. It moves up and down, and it will lock itself into this notch to lock the slide open. I'll show you that in a moment. This is the safety. The red dot indicates that my safety is turned off right now. So this gun's safety is not turned on. Safety is on. Safety is off. This button here, this is our magazine release. The magazine holds the ammunition, goes in here. You push the magazine release, and it comes out. This is our trigger. Mine has a trigger safety. It's very hard to see in this light, but basically what that allows for is that the trigger won't be able to be pulled unless this is pushed down as well. Okay? It stops here otherwise. You don't need to worry about this switch. This switch here is for cleaning and taking the gun apart. Do not pull on that tonight at Wade's because you shouldn't be taking their guns apart. Again, we have the safety, the slide lock, magazine release, and the trigger. In order to load the weapon, step 1 is don't touch this one. Take your magazine and a couple of bullets. I usually use 5. You do not need to use 5. You can use as many or as few as you like. Different magazines hold a different number of rounds. It varies with the gun. Mine holds 7. Many of the ones we'll be working with tonight will hold 10 or more. But for the purposes of what we're doing here, I'm just going to put in 2 because I don't feel like chasing bullets all over my desk. So, to load the bullets, what you'll do here is the magazine will have an obvious front. The back here is not big enough for a bullet to fit through. The front is. So, the front and each bullet, for those of you who've never seen one, each bullet will have an obvious front and a back. The pointy end is the front. So the way you do this is you will slide the bullet in like this, push it down, slide it back. That's all there is to it. Bullet number 2, you can use both fingers. You push down with one to get this started, and then this goes right on top, and you slide it back in. Okay? So, repeat as many times as necessary. That is how you put bullets in your magazine. Push down, slide back. That's all there is to it. And you don't have to be terribly delicate. Bullets are not super dangerous by themselves. They have to be hit pretty hard, and they have to be hit pretty hard right in the center of the back in order for them to do anything stupid or be thrown in a fire. So you don't have to worry about being very, very delicate putting them in. Just push them in. Now, once you have the magazine loaded and you have the gun, what you'll have to do is, remember I said the slide slides back, and this is your slide lock. So what you do is you push up on the slide lock while you pull the slide back, and that will lock the slide open. This may take some practice. When you're practicing, remember, do not point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. Do not point it at people. Do not turn around. Do not carry the gun around with you. Point the gun at downrange while you work on this. If you have trouble, let somebody who has worked with a gun before show you firsthand. We will be very happy to help. We will be happy to answer questions, but slide the slide back, slide the slide lock up, and it will lock open like this. At this point, you can see right through, and that is how you know for sure the gun is empty. Okay? Now, so we have the gun, magazine loaded, slide open. The magazine slides into the bottom of the gun, and what you will do is just give it a smack, and it will lock itself in. Okay? It's not going to fall out. Then, what you'll do is you will touch the slide release, slide lock, and you will pull it down, and the gun will lock itself shut, and that will load the first round in the chamber. At this point, safety off, and on mine there's a little shark fin. This gun is loaded and ready to fire, okay? So, how do we verify that a gun is ready to fire? This shark fin is a good cheat, but not every gun has it, and you can't always rely on it to work. So what you do is you will hold the slide, and you will pull it open partway, so you can see the brass of the round. So you know that this gun is loaded, there's a round in the chamber, this gun is ready to break things. When you run out of bullets, what will happen is, with most of the semi-automatics, assuming they're working correctly, if I've loaded 5 rounds and I fire 2 of them, what will happen is the gun will actually lock itself open in the position we saw it before. The magazine will stay in, but the gun will be locked open. Okay? When that happens, all you do is you press the magazine release, and the magazine will pop out, and you can put in a new one, slide it shut, and fire some more. Or, if you decide that you're done with a gun, sometimes a gun doesn't feel right in your hands, sometimes you don't like the way it sounds, sometimes you just don't like the gun, it's a very personal thing, whatever. If you decide you're done firing this gun before you're out of bullets, it will sit just like this. There will be a bullet in the chamber ready to fire, and the slide will be shut, and your magazine will be in there with bullets still in. If that is the case, what you will do is you will hold the gun. Remember, finger stays away from the trigger. You put it right up here. What you will do is turn the gun sideways. Do not turn it away from downrange. Turn it sideways and slide it open. Most of them are going to have a grip like this that will make it easier to hold on to. Okay? So what you'll do is turn the gun sideways, pull it like this, and the bullet will pop out the top. Now, what you can do before you do anything else is pull the gun partway open and look in there and make sure that it is empty. Then you can put it back in the pistol rug with an empty magazine and go exchange it for a different gun.